many times have you helped someone and they never even said thank you to you? How do you feel when that happens? What do you think the attitude is of the person who doesn't thank you? He just takes the help that you offered for granted. Is that person selfish, self-centered, ungrateful, inconsiderate? Being thankful requires character, and God is in the character building business. God expects us to be thankful. In the first part, I'm going to talk about being thankful to God. Now, of course, we are thankful for being called to be first fruits, of being able to meet in relative safety in nice facilities. And we have a wide array of powerful study aids that previous generations couldn't even think of. But I want to dig a little bit deeper. So here's an example. The weather forecast is for tornadoes in your area. You pray for protection from those tornadoes. The tornado strikes a mile away from you. Did God answer your prayer, or did the tornado just miss on its own? Well, the Bible gives us an answer on this. Deuteronomy 31:6, be strong and of good courage. Do not fear nor be afraid of them, for the Lord your God, he is the one who goes with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you. And Psalm 23 verse 4, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. So the key parts of these verses are, he will not leave you nor forsake you, for you are with me. And the point is that God is with us, and that's what we are thankful for, that God is with us. Note that being with us does not necessarily mean he will give us exactly what we want. Remember, the 23rd Psalm says, valley of the shadow of death, not Club Med. There's a difference. But let's get back to our example. Maybe God did protect us from the tornado and actually moved it. Maybe he didn't need to. But the point was, he was there for us when we needed him there for us. And that's what we're thankful for. Maybe the tornado damaged your house or even ruined it. God is still there. It just means that a trial is coming, and that we will need God with us even more. Reading from James 1 verse 2, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials. Now, that's the reason James is an apostle and I am not. It's very difficult to count it all joy when you go into trials. And we've all gone through trials. And it is a time when we do grow closer to God as we go through those trials, and we learn things through the experience that trial affords. When I had Behçet's disease, I learned a lot of empathy for people who had autoimmune diseases that I wouldn't have had I not gone through it. So we learn empathy, we learn to be thankful that God will offer us a door through the trial as long as we stay close to him, that there is a way out. And no matter the trial, we need to thank God for being there for us and opening doors as they are needed. And through it all, we will all grow in character, wisdom, and empathy in both good and bad times. For those of us who are getting older, there are additional trials, health trials, right? When I was a kid, the young ladies here will avow to this. When you're a kid, you say, why does old people talk about their health all the time? Oh, this ache, that pain. How come? Then I said that too. Now doing the same thing. Well, there's a process here. First it's stiff, then it hurts, then it don't work, and then you have an operation. And all of these steps are not pleasant. It's hard to count it all joy. But it teaches us something that's really important. It teaches us our mortality as opposed to eternity. Because when you're on the operating table, waiting for them to put you out, you are not at all concerned about the price of gas at the gas pump. Your concern is eternity. And I think the aging process is built in to give us a stronger feeling of that eternity. But in addition to being thankful to God, we also have to be thankful to others. Now, I mentioned in the intro, how do you feel when you sacrifice to help someone and they never even thank you? You know, that happened to Jesus when he healed those 10 individuals. 9 of them never came back. Only 1 came back and gave thanks. Well, he was certainly disappointed that only 1 came back. But think a little further. What was the relationship of that 1 person who came back and gave thanks to Jesus compared to the other 9? The person who came back developed a relationship with Jesus Christ. And he still got to see him in the flesh too. But he built up a relationship. The other 9 did not. And that's part of what happens between us. Because being thankful improves all of our personal relationships with other individuals. When we thank someone, we are showing respect for what they did. And the person who helped us is also growing closer to us because they realize that we're appreciating what they did. When we help someone, we are showing concern. And when they thank us, we are forming a bond of mutual respect. Respect for the sacrifices and difficulties of others is critical in the world tomorrow. There we will not take people for granted, as often happens here when people who are ungrateful are really taking people for granted. Concern for others as well as appreciation and giving thanks for help would please God because we are acting in a way that God wants. And in the process, we are also bonding with those people. But throughout the New Testament, Paul is always concerned about the churches that he's writing to. And he shows his concern in the letters that he writes. And I'm sure the churches all appreciated Paul's visits, although maybe some people in the Corinthian church might not have at times, but in the long term they would. We need to learn to be thankful now in this life, so that when we are priests and rulers in the world tomorrow, we will be able to teach it to the people that we serve. But I might want to add that when someone is not thankful, doesn't mean we should stop praying for them as in their difficulties. We just have to pray that not only their problem will be resolved, but that their attitude will change also. As parents, you practice teaching being thankful by teaching your kids or grandkids, in my case. And my wife and I taught it to our children. And even though our children chose to leave the church, they do teach their kids to say please and thank you. So that came through. I want to read Proverbs 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Now, we tended to think that when our children left the church, they would come back when they got older and learned a little bit more. But it doesn't really mean that, because God does the calling. The parents don't do the calling. If God does not call our children, they will leave the church or they will be passive attendees. Because it is always God who does the calling. Now, we can do our best in teaching, but remember, God does the calling. And in our interactions with people, in giving thanks, the person who helped us has to know that we are thankful for what they did. And so we can approach them face to face, we can send them a card, phone them, text, or give them a gift. But we should let the people know that we are being thankful. Being thankful is a character trait that God appreciates. We need to be thankful to God for being there through our good times as well as our bad times. We need to be thankful when others sacrifice and help us. We have to learn to be thankful so we can grow in character and show concern when we help others and show appreciation when others help us. In the world tomorrow, we will be responsible in teaching this character trait. And when people develop this character trait, they will show concern and appreciation. People will say thank you and seek to serve others.